Hello everybody, this is Mike with Play More Games, and today we're going to take a look at A Victory Awaits. This is, if you watched my unboxing video, the map I didn't show you, the Army Group North map, or Leningrad map. And we're all set up and ready to go. So before we get started, however, I do want to just walk you through a couple of things. Alright, so this is where our invading forces are at. So, in this game, it's a chit pull system. And each chit, I've got them lined up over here, corresponds to a matching headquarter unit. Okay? Now, when we pull the 4th Panzer Grenadier, for example, we don't just activate everything that's 4th Panzer Grenadier, we activate everything within this HQ's range, which is 4. Okay, so that's important to remember because you can use that to manage your forces to get them to move multiple times in a turn. And indeed, in the very beginning when they're all bunched up, that's exactly what's going to happen. Okay, so the Germans, as you might expect, are all bunched up. They're ready to start with over the border. There's a surprise attack that we'll do before we get started with turn 1. Let's take a look at the Soviets. As you might imagine, there's a number of weak units, okay, and their HQs are kind of scattered. There's some there, there's one there in Riga, and all of these units here are out of command. There's no HQ near them that can activate them. So we can't move any of these. These units up here in Leningrad are locked out until we add the 23rd Army chit on turn 3. Okay. So, how do we win? So the Germans need to get 54 victory points, okay? And each major city is worth 10. So they start with Königsberg, which is 10. And there's Kaunas, Riga, Tallinn, the important port on the Baltic there, for 3 more. So we get all those, it brings us to 40. There are 3 here for a total of 70. And if we get to here before turn 6 and capture one of those stand fast markers, it's an additional 5, so 85. And then each of these supply hexes are worth 10. But, as you can imagine, that is quite the journey to get there. So there's something in the neighborhood of 100 possible victory points. For geographic objectives, you also get victory points for having full-strength motorized or mechanized units. I think the Germans have a total of 7, somewhere in the neighborhood, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. So there's 8 victory points there. And then for every Soviet one that ends in the eliminated units box, that's another victory point. So realistically, we need to get Kaunas, Riga, Tallinn. That would bring us to 40. If we protect all of our armor, that gets us to about 47, 48. And then we would need to pick off about 6 Soviet units. So if that sounds daunting, well, it is. Which means we'll need to get at least 1 Leningrad hex and one of these supply hexes here. You get fewer points if you capture it, but it's out of communication. Which, given the timescale of the game, ends in September of 41. I don't think the Germans had gotten quite to Stalingrad yet, or Leningrad yet, but I'll look that up later and see if I can find out anything about that. Okay, so that is enough background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my mount and we're going to start the attack. So we'll be back in a bit. Thanks. Okay, so I looked it up, and the Siege of Leningrad began officially on September 8th of 1941, so indeed The Germans did quite make it that far, so we'll need to at least match what they did. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing we do is there's a special round 1 attack. So what we're going to do, and it's just these units here. So we activate 4th Panzer for combat. Okay, and we are going to go ahead and we're going to try and punch a hole here. Okay, so each stack is going to attack the one across from it. Okay, so here to here, actually what we're going to do is we're going to take these 10 and attack here, and then we have a panzer for each of these, and then yeah. Okay, so here we go. So here to here is going to be a 5-to-1. Okay. 1 on the 5-to-1, not a great start, but it is a retreat. So this unit will pick up and go here. Okay, and then here we have a 4-to-1. And that is another retreat result. And we will move those panthers there, move this guy here, and then we have a 4-to-1 here. That is a 5. And that is a 1-step loss and a retreat. Okay. Now this 6 will go here, 3-to-1, and this is a wooded X, so it's going to come down to a 2-to-1, so a bit of a risky one here. And we get a 4, which is a retreat. Okay. And then last up here, we have a 7-to-1 that's shifted down to a 6-to-1. And that is a 2. So that's an RR. Now, since these advanced here, this first hex is an enemy Zoc, so it's going to cause a step loss. Okay. So not really a great start, but we did manage to push them back a little bit, and we are going to get started with the turn. So I'm going to build the check cup, and on the first turn, the Soviets get the 11th Army and the 8th Army. We always put in the supply check shit. The Germans get 4, which is 4th Panzer Grenadier, 18th Army, and 11th Army. That's all they ever get. And the Manstein chit, which is a held chit. Okay, and I'm going to show you how that works right now, because I don't want to give the Soviets a chance to recuperate. So it's kind of like an interrupt chit. Actually, technically, we can see what's drawn first before we play it. So let's see. Alright, it's the 8th Army, so yeah, we're going to play it as an interrupt. So now, if you remember what I said, anything within 4 hexes of this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So everything from here, okay, all the way to here can attack, move and attack. Okay, the only thing we can't do is activate another Army HQ. So we're going to line up the same attacks again, basically. And we'll also add 2 3-to-1s against these 2 hexes here. And then we'll do these 4 attacking here, which is a 6-to-1 shifted to 5-to-1. These 2 will attack here. These 2, man, I'm gonna need to get some sort of. It's only really complicated declaring all of your attacks on the first turn. After that, it gets a lot easier. Alright, it doesn't super matter, I think, on a lot of these, so let's do these 2 3-to-1s here. Okay. So first we rolled a 5, which is an RR. So we'll go 1, 2. And then the second 3-to-1 is a 1, so that one stays put. These guys will advance. They can move a maximum of 1 hex. Now here we have another 3-to-1 against that one here. It's a 6, so it's an RR. Now here, this one is going to be on the max table. So that is a 3RR. So that unit is destroyed. And I forgot to move this, I'll move him there. And mechanized can move an additional space. So we'll stick him there. Okay, 8-to-1. A 2 on the 8-to-1. We'll do another step loss. Alright, so here to here is 4-to-1. And that is a RR. So we'll go here and then here. Okay, so then we have a 5-to-1 here. That's a 6. That's 1 RR. This guy has nowhere to go. That's not in a Zoc, so he gets eliminated. So I'll go 1, 2. And then these 4 is 12 against that is 6-to-1, so shifted to 5-to-1. A 3 on the 5-to-1 is RR. So it'll take a step loss going here, and then it'll retreat to here. Okay. So now it's looking a little bit more promising. But we've only eliminated 3 units, so 6, 7, including this one here, step losses. So could be better. Alright, now we draw a new chit. And it's the 4th Panzer Grenadier, so we're going to activate the same HQ again, which is good for the Germans, which means that basically everything that I just activated will be able to activate again. Okay. So our goal here is to break out straight to Riga. So moving out of a Zoc costs an extra 2, so this is 3, 4, 5. Alright, go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I'll move this just a little so we can continue to see what's going on. Okay. So, a couple of attacks here. And let me move these guys here. All right. Moving these will cost 5. Okay. So first, we're going to attack this unit here. And that's going to be a 6 to 1. And I rolled a 6, which will eliminate this unit. Now we're not going to advance because 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I might as well. Some of these units are going to be outside of the range of their HQ when we pull the 16th Army HQ. So, but that can't be helped. Okay. We have 14 against this 2 here, so that's 7 to 1. And that's a 1. So an RR. Now that second hex of advance cannot be over a minor or major river. So I don't think the railroad counts in this case. We would want to see a road there. So we'll leave them there. And we have 16 to 8. 16 to 2 is 8 to 1. And we rolled a 1. So let's move that there. Here we have a 5 to 1. Try and take out the HQ there. Shifted for the cities 4 to 1. We roll a 3, which is a retreat result. Okay. And then here we have, we'll just attack this unit here at a 2 to 1, so a little bit risky. We get a 4, which is a retreat. Alright. So let me zoom out just a little bit so you can see how the Germans are starting to break out here. And we've only played 2 chits. So next up is the German 16th Army. that HQ is right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We can only activate these 4 units here. So we'll do that, and there's no rivers or anything. So we'll do a pair of 3-to-1s attacks. So we'll do this north one first. And actually, we'll make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to move it up. Alright, so 3-to-1 north attack. We got a 5, which is 1 RR. And then this one here is another 3-to-1. And actually, we'll want to make sure that we advance these guys, because with a little bit of luck, we might be able to eliminate them. It's a 1 RR, but that will eliminate them. So now these guys can advance too. Alright, so now we're up to 12, 13 step losses inflicted to 0 suffered for the Germans. Alright, next up, the 8th Army for the Soviets. Now, the 8th Army is over here, but it can activate everything within 4. So even these units here, which are not 8th Army, the top one isn't anyway, can be activated. And it doesn't matter enemy ZOC or anything like this. We're talking like radios, you know? So, alright, so we're going to retreat. So 1, 2, 3. We can't get across the river. So 1, 2, 3. River costs an extra 1. This costs 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then we're going to take this HQ, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back them all the way up to the city. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here, we'll leave this guy behind to try and slow down the Germans, but we don't want our panzers to get hurt. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I think that's going to be it for them. Alright, next. The last German ship, 18th Army. Alright. So that's everything within range of 4 of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, which means it's only going to be these units here. So we're going to chase 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and by moving it to here, we can activate as far up as this one, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, as far south as this one. So this range of units on the next activation, which will be on turn 2, which will be nice. Alright, next we have the 11th Army Chet, and that is over here. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Park him in the city, and then we'll send our HQ 1, 2, 3, 4. The idea there, of course, is we want to protect our HQ. We don't want to lose it for, well, we wouldn't even be able to bring it back as a reinforcement until turn 4. Okay. Alright, so that means the last chit, kind of a non-starter, is the supply chit. And the reason I say that is the Germans don't check supply on the first 4 turns, and the Soviets are all in supply. The Soviets have very generous supply rules. Basically, as long as they're not encircled, they're in supply. Which makes a fair amount of sense given the time frame of the game and the fact that they are defending. Okay, so that's turn 1. As you can see, took us about 20 minutes, so very quick turns, and that's with, you know, me trying to make sure everything fits into the camera. I hope I did a good job. So that's turn 1, set up in turn 1, so hopefully get to play a few more turns tomorrow. But I'm gonna call it a night here, say thank you for watching. I hope this game looks interesting to you, because it's been very fun trying to figure the ins and outs of this one so far. What I'll say is you're playing the game, not the rules. If you're looking for a super detailed and chrome-laden Barbarossa game, this is not it. But if you are looking for something that's fun, playable, interesting, this is definitely worth a look. The rules are simple, they're good for solitaire play, they're good for multiplayer play, beautiful artwork, nicely done counters, and you know, just based on what I've done so far, I normally am cagey about saying things like this, but I recommend it. I can tell that this is going to be a fun one, and I am looking forward to trying the Army Group Center and South scenarios, and heaven permitting someday, maybe at Compass Expo or something, playing the 3-map campaign game. So anyway, that's enough rambling. I'm going to cut it off here. Thanks again for watching. This is Mike, and we'll see you around. Bye.